There
Hey,
he,
buddy.
there he is.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, buddy. How you
Do I look
doing?
all right?
You look cold.
Yeah, I look cold.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I just want to make sure lighting's okay. Yours is looking pretty good. I like that angle. I
Yeah.
like those lights you got.
Oh, thanks, man. I got this beam, this weird kind of light thing right there. You know, see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go.
Oh, but
Oh, I
you,
see
oh,
what you mean.
what?
It's like a shadow. You have like a shadow.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Do you have a light? Do you have a light on your right side?
The right side? Yeah, there's a light on the right side.
I think that's where the shadow's coming from.
Yeah, whatever. Let's kill that thing.
Got to get it
Cool.
right. Oh, there you go. That's better. A little better. Yeah, just have a little bit. That's fine. Yeah, that's good. You look clean. Bring your camera down a little bit. I want to see more of your chest.
Doing a little gray. We're doing gray on gray. Do we organize this? Gray on gray.
We did it. Hey man, you know what? We're telepathy. That's how it is, man. We just know. We're connected. We are brothers from another mother. We are connected.
You got no hair to fix. You know what I mean? You don't got to worry about it.
Oh, and this was not yet. I trimmed this down a little bit too.
Oh, yeah.
I did a little bit of a little trim down a little bit. It's not so like big and bushy. So I want. I figure now I know what it looks like being all big and bushy. Now I can start trying to find out what I want to, what I feel like I want to rock as my new style.
I like it. I like it. What does your wife like better?
I think she likes it a little bit more trimmed down. She definitely doesn't want me to shave it.
Yeah.
She says I go too short sometimes, but for me, I always shave it a couple of days before I know that I'm going to start meeting with people. So when she first sees me, I typically am shaved, but I know that it's going to grow out and it's going to look perfect in like a day or two, maybe 3 days.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I do that for
but
pictures for like my hair.
that's the process. Yeah.
But yeah,
The process,
you're glitching a little bit.
So are you. You're like slightly delayed on your end of it.
I wonder how this is going to come out in the recording. Am I glitching like in video?
No, I mean you did. It was for just a quick second. Remember that? I mean, we were talking with Steve, and it kind of glitched for a second. Now you're cleared up right now.
Yeah.
You've definitely cleared up your videos. Your video is cleared up. Are you doing that on purpose? Are you trying to see if there's a delay? I can see you.
Shit. Well, happy New Year's,
So you're
man.
using your. Are you using your? Oh yeah, happy New Year's to you. Heard you. Oh yeah, you went camping, huh?
Had to get to some nature, dude. This city, North Hollywood, drive me. Test your mental capacity here sometimes.
I bet, because you're like locked down like more than anyone is locked down in California.
In the mix, they say it's like what 1 in 5 of COVID here in LA.
Is that what the numbers?
Yeah, like London, they're saying like something like 120 right now, and people are tripping out about that. And I'm like, well, LA is like 1 in 5. What's up with that? Yeah, it's not good,
man. I take it you haven't gotten sick, or have you been tested?
No. I got tested a couple times, but just
okay.
tripping out.
I hear you.
In your head sometimes.
How about I mean, especially where you guys are. I mean, you guys are like seems like ground zero or something.
You see that?
I do see that. Is that gaff tape?
That is gaff tape. Old practices die hard, right?
When it works, it works.
Yeah, it's like boom.
It's the AV thing right there. It's the perfect size to drop in a cup and keep it, widen the base up so no one spills their cup around the electronics.
That's what
yes, sir. Do. That's the way to do it right there. You need to start coming up with like a new design, like some designs of gaff tape. That would actually be a little. What's that? Like a coaster, right? Make those coasters like that size, right? With different designs on it. So you set your cup in it.
Ooh, instead of like a koozie, like they have koozies for cups and cans, it's like an insulated tape. You just wrap the gaff tape.
Yep. And just give it a little bit of a wider base.
Boop. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. So tell me about your camping trip. Tell me where'd you go?
First of all, I was reading this article in Forbes randomly.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this is cool. Let's check this out. And they had this whole list of 2021 COVID friendly, as we were talking about COVID, who's practicing things, taking, you could select the activity, be it a zoo, uh, a Sea World, a movie theater, a hotel chain. And then they went through and they rated who's taking seriously like all the practices of like cleaning and who's going over and far beyond that. And one of the highest hotel chains that they rated that was going above and beyond was the Hilton brand. Shit, what am I can't remember that name right now. It's a bummer. But
so it was a Hilton property that was basically the most
Canopy.
Oh, okay.
It was called Canopy, and it was right and happened to be in downtown Sedona. We've done a lot of work in Phoenix and Sedona before.
Yeah,
Not Sedona, Scottsdale. I'm sorry, Scottsdale.
Okay, so it's a Hilton in Scottsdale, or the brand of Hilton, a brand of Hilton.
Yeah, which is called Canopy, which is I think.
Oh, got it.
They're trying to go after like the Kipton brands. It's the younger brand where it's like, okay, we have wine and beer for 2 hours every night, social hour.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. For the younger traveler, got it.
And it's kind of in the cool places. I can imagine there's probably one in like Austin, Texas, and there's probably one in San Diego. And then they have like those barns doors that slide. I hate those things, man. They're supposed to be like hip and cool. We'd be sharing bedrooms together, and you like slide the door. You could still like hear me, everything going down. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So was it busy there?
Dude, it was busy. I think the COVID just didn't go to Arizona for some reason. It just like skipped Scottsdale.
It didn't go over there. It's like, nah, we don't want to. It's too hot to be in Arizona. We're not going to go there.
Yeah. Or they had like super magnets that just like kept it out because, I mean, everywhere was fully packed. In dining inside.
Indoor dining, huh?
Look at your expression. Me too. I was like, oh, indoor dining.
It's like this. It's like, I mean, it's been over almost a year now that we haven't been able to eat indoors unless you're in your own home. So to be able to go somewhere and people are eating indoors, it's just like that's a thing. Like you can do that now. What do you mean eating indoors? The COVID doesn't exist indoors now. Is that only indoors when you're in California? So you can't eat indoors in California? Oh my gosh,
dude! It was like because we went there for the day, like 2 days before New Year's, and then New Year's Eve, and then and then took off to Sedona after that. But so that place in Scottsdale, it was awesome. I guess it had only opened up during COVID, so they've only known and operated under COVID practices and rules.
Okay.
And it was cool because again, downtown, Old Town Scottsdale, super fun. If the pandemic wasn't there in my mind, I probably would have been like hitting up everything, but I didn't. I was just too sketched out, California mind. But we did hit some stuff, went around and kind of checked some stuff out. But you get in your car with your phone, you check in, pop, and then you get your access to open the garage. So you go to the garage, you go pop, sliding door rolls up, go park your car, and then you open the elevator like a safety glass door to go into the elevators with your key, with your phone. Pop, that opens. And then you go into the elevator, and they even link, so you go right from the garage to the elevator, and then you need a card usually to go up to the different floors. You use your phone again, and then you get into your room. It has this safety seal. I guess they seal it, and they don't let anyone in there for so many hours, until you come in, and then they won't come in again until you leave. And then that door, boom, with your phone. So we're able to come in, check in, straight through the garage, open the garage, right into the elevator, right to the room. Didn't have to talk to anybody, see anybody.
Or touch anything.
Automatic doors,
So it's an app that you have to download for that particular hotel, or was it through like a text message or QR codes, or what was the
Hilton app?
Oh, so use the Hilton app for that property, and that property is linked up, being able to give you the codes to access the garage, opening everything you need to open, and basically like just Now, you know what? You think about like how the future of things are, that can easily turn into something where you won't even need your phone anymore. And just by you having your phone on you and your geolocation as you approach
Dude,
certain things start to open for you before you even get there. Like that's like moving on to that type of technology where you just walk in, you drive up to the garage opens. You walk up to the elevator opens. Because it knows what floor you're on and where you have to go, it literally just takes you up to the floor, opens the elevator when you get there, and you walk up to your room and it knows that you're there and it unlocks the door and opens the door for you. And you walk in with all of your stuff without a door slamming you with the trying to slam your luggage as you're trying to get into the door. It opens for you, walk in, and then it be able to close it behind you.
your
That would be
Spotify
pretty.
channel turns on automatically that you like.
Yeah, like your Spotify channel, whatever you use,
TV channel.
you walk in, or if it's TV, be able to walk in, your TV turns on, whatever
Oh, you know.
preferences you like when you go in. The lights, the temperature as you're walking up, the AC is kicking on, or the heat is turning on as you're walking down the hallway or as you approach, right? As you get there, your settings of your room are like getting to where you like it. Everything's becoming more automated, like, and that's amazing. I was just happy because I set up in a third car garage, right? And the way it was wired before is you had to use the light switch when you enter the second car or the main car garage, or the main garage through the house. There's a switch and it lights up all the lights in the third car garage as well. But since I blocked off the door and access to the garage, right, being able to go from the main garage to the third car garage, I blocked that off to use that for storage space. And then I have basically a backdoor access. But for me, I was just excited that I bought this thing off of Amazon that allowed me to have motion as the light turned on, as I opened the door to come into the third car garage. And then when I leave, it turns off a minute later. I was just excited about that. And what you just told me, it's absolutely amazing.
Wait, you were able to integrate the Amazon device into it, or the device had the light connected all in one?
I bought another light, a separate light. I was at Harbor Freight. They had this deal for like a 4-foot LED shop light for $25 or whatever. I said, oh, let's give it a shot. Super bright, works great in here. But yeah, I basically popped that up there, and then I didn't want to have it on a switch, so I bought another device for like $20, which allowed me to basically plug in a regular plug right into it, and then that little box plugs into the wall outlet, and then it has like this like 3-foot cord that allows you to put the motion sensor wherever you want to put the motion sensor. So right now it's set. So and then you can change the setting to like turn on and off 4 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes when there's no motion, right? I have it set for a minute. That's pretty much all I need. So yeah, I was just happy at
Wow.
that. And you're literally telling me like, oh yeah, I walked up to this hotel, I checked in, I went to the garage, I went to the elevator, I unlocked my door, I ordered food.
Yeah, right. Dude, that's awesome. That's like the new school clapper, though. You know.
That is the new school clapper. That is absolutely right. I mean, that's like Tony Stark stuff, really. That's like, I mean, that's minus being AI, right? That's like pretty much just using and all the technology that they've been using, like in the Amazon, right, for being able to check out,
Yes.
right? Is the Amazon has those stores where you can walk in and you just pick up food and it knows and you leave and it just builds your account, right? Just very simple, like just through that geolocation.
Right
You guys
here.
have one of those over there? Do
2
you have
blocks
one?
from me. Yeah, it already opened. Amazon Fresh store. 2 blocks.
Really? And
Right
you
here.
just walk up, grab your stuff, leave, and then boom, that's it.
And
No,
they have,
no talking to nobody's touching your groceries. Nobody's touching anything.
dude,
We're
you
getting rid
walk.
of those the cashiers and the bag people.
Yeah, exactly. You have the app. Every aisle has like an Alexa on it. So it's like, hey, you want a recipe? Hey, we'll send it right to your phone. Your phone's open. You go into the store Wi-Fi, and then you can do like weighing. They even have a spot in these like smart baskets where you can like set your phone, you can clean it, and then set your phone. So as you walk, you just have your phone here in the basket, and then you go through those little aisles that read what's in your cart. I mean, it's just crazy, man. You have to come up here and check it out.
I do. I might just go to ground zero and take my chances.
just to go to the Amazon Fresh
just to go to the Amazon Fresh store, just to check it out.
We could film each
I
other.
mean, I love that. The whole concept. I love it. I mean, I think that's amazing. I think, it definitely, what you've experienced as a hotel will probably be the staple, in all of our experiences, all the places that we've traveled and everything. I mean, just to be able to get rid of the problem of getting a room key, going upstairs to try to use your room key and it not work.
Uh,
I'm with the app. And then you have to go downstairs back after all your luggage. You got in at midnight. You got to go back downstairs. You got to tell them that your key's not working. They got to make you a new key, and then you got to go up. That right there, I want that just for that reason. I hated it. That was like the worst thing of having to like check in at hotels when we traveled, was that like your key not working situation.
yeah, then getting demagnetized, losing it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, you never lose your key now. Now you have they never have to even print keys,
Not that
right?
I.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. Save all that time. Not that I've even been like traveling to a lot of places, but that's got to be one of the most advanced hotel check-ins I've seen.
yeah, I mean, we've traveled all over the country. I mean, we have been to places, and it's always you have to go talk to someone. They have to give you a key. You got to touch the elevator to what floor you're going on to. You got to like touch the thing for the garage. Like all those things are, a thing of the past. I mean, it's unfortunate that it takes something this drastic, like a COVID infection or a pandemic of some sort, in order for people to kind of change the way they're doing things to make that experience even better. I mean, this idea of being able to do what you're talking about is something that could have existed already, but it took a pandemic in order to make it happen, right?
It's funny that you say that because that goes into like kind of what I was thinking about, through this whole trip of camping was like that Newton's first law. Like everything that's sedentary or in motion will remain sedentary or moving unless a great force is acted upon it, right? Which basically means like everything in this world and even like plans and anything, it at motion, matter, it doesn't want to change. Even as humans we resist change, but
And we
if
have
you're
to be forced. That force has to come from an outside. An outside force has to come in and basically knock us off our toes and go, oh, we might need to change.
absolutely,
We have to change directions. We have to change the way we're doing things. We have to modify, and I mean, change is inevitable. I think we talked in one of our conversations we had with Steve. We were talking about change, right, and how everybody has to change. I mean, you're walking in, you're walking around, and you're seeing how people are now working out outside. That's always been a thing, but there's been like a whole group of people who had to go indoors into a gym to go work out, where now they're literally putting them in the parking lots.
I
And
love
like when living in California, being able to like really enjoy the outside areas of being able to eat, dine outside and enjoy the Southern California sun, whether it's the middle of the day or even our sunsets and our nice nights and it's not raining that much, and just being able to like enjoy life outdoors. I mean, now they're like cities are going, oh, why don't you just build some seats? Just put some seats out here on the patio, right? Or not, we'll go past the patio. We're going to go on the sidewalk. Oh, you know what? Let's just use the parking lot. Let's just take up this whole section of parking lot, and now we're just going to put people to be able to sit there so they can sit outside. And just at that point, it's because you have to in order to stay open. But now we're like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. So we're at my town in Temecula, they have a little area called Old Town, and they've been working on that for a long time, like putting in new businesses, tearing down old ones, putting new ones up, putting in restaurants, small little boutique shops and whatnot. And now they've taken all of their outdoor space that was like parking lots and everything else, and they've now put like string lights up and LED lights up, and they've put up these like nice tables, and really turned these parking lots into like some really nice areas to eat, which is great because I love sitting outside and being able to eat. Like I've always really enjoyed that myself. So,
oh yeah,
I'm looking forward to being able to do, to experience more places. Some places I don't want to, it's stuffy, it stinks, you get the whiff of the kitchen, whatever happens. And, you just want to you're out. It's nice outside. You want to be outside. So, for something like a pandemic to have to like force people to change, even like our experiences, it sounds like these are all good experiences that are like helping us moving forward and giving us that like, oh, this is kind of nice. you know
yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. How about even schools? What if they changed to be like the old Greek and Roman style, or it's outside and they have like the open amphitheaters? Everyone just kind of sits in that, and then the teacher's down there, and it's like natural, like you could hear him, for the sound would be naturally reverberating.
Yeah, I mean, whether people start rocking like they have earbuds, they're going to throw some earbuds in. They just broadcast through people's phones through an app, right?
Oh, there
And
you
you're
go.
all outside with giant LED walls, or you have, your tablet or your laptop in front of you. I mean, yeah, we could definitely change the way that school systems are done. That would be really cool, you know. And
Just
then
like,
someone's going to be like, "I'm allergic to the outside. I can't go be." I shouldn't say that.
or just like
I'm
the
a,
silent raves. Everyone has their
this,
earbuds.
yeah.
Oh, oh.
Yep, the silent party. Yep, yep. That's like I have actually a friend of mine who's been doing that, where they've been doing these silent discos, where they just get all of the guests have headphones on because they don't want to basically like let anyone know that they're having a gathering. So they
Yeah,
do the silent one. So there's no speakers, everything's just in the headphones, so they can like dance around and everything else. But like if you don't have headphones on, you're like, this is kind of weird.
it's like watching a movie, and then all the extras are like at a party scene. But to get the good dialogue, you can't have any music, so they're all like
Yeah, exactly. Just silent.
silent. Yeah,
I mean,
nothing.
it's a silent party. Okay, so you went to Scottsdale. You had this really cool experience at a hotel. Which is that the reason why you went there? Was because you wanted to check out that hotel? Like, did you know that this was the process, or did you know that? Did you find out about the process of going through and not touching anything and all of that after you booked it?
Yeah, I mean, being this is like the first time I'm like, okay, going on the road trip, hitting hotels, traveling in the COVID time, getting out of LA. Uh, I specifically went because I read that Forbes article about that hotel. Specifically, I mean, there could have been so many places we could have gone, but it was because of
Yeah,
that
right. Because
Canopy
of that reason.
Hotel of Hilton.
Not necessarily about how they walk you through the process, like walking in and checking in, or was that in the article as well? Like, was
Oh yeah,
that
that
like
was
the
all in.
new way? Oh, that was all in the article. Okay, it wasn't just about them like wiping stuff down and using like special cleaners every like 10 minutes or something.
Oh no, no, no. Actually, they mentioned it, and then I went to the website, and then you could see like, oh, and then we're partnered with Lysol, and then Lysol comes on, and they made their 'cause they got all that big advertising money as well. So you know all the rooms you can like scan the QR code and it's like see the Lysol videos and what we're doing, and we're doing this and this and this, and bathrooms this.
Okay, okay. So you had fun there. That was cool.
Yeah,
And then so
cool.
you were there
Yeah,
for. Then so you
awesome.
did
That's
you
such a cool
celebrated New Year's there?
celebrated New Year's there, and remember Camelback? That's Camelback Place.
Yes,
That's
yeah, I'm familiar with Camelback. Yes, I was actually, you know what, just talking with a friend of mine about like some of the places that were there in Camelback and around. I was like, oh yeah, I've stayed here. This is a nice place. Yeah, I remember
right.
that place very
And
well.
a bummer, if you have a dog, you can't go there. So yeah, we were trying to climb that mountain as the New Year's, kind of like, oh yeah, cool, get outside, let's do it. And then yeah, no dogs allowed. So that's a good thing to keep in mind.
Oh, okay.
So we just rolled around, checked some stuff out. It was awesome. But then the next like 4 or 5 days, we actually went to Sedona, and that was the first time there. Have you ever got over there?
I have never been there. I've heard some great things about it. I've heard it's very beautiful, but I have not had the chance to experience anything in Sedona.
Have you heard anything like about it, or like rumors about it, or like what do you think when you hear it?
I think of the desert and rocks, but that's about it. I don't think of really anything else. Maybe some Joshua trees.
Oh yeah, right. And those cool cacti. The little,
Yeah, yeah.
what are they?
That's I don't know. I don't really know much about Sedona. I don't know much about the area. So, what is it known for?
Red rocks. So everything's like these crazy red rocks. The movies, the old westerns, like the John Wayne movies of like back in the day, Wild West America. That's what it kind of reminded me of. You can see all these filming locations. Just be like, oh, okay, I want to go actually watch old movies and see if I can like pick out these formations now. Now that they're like in my mind.
Right.
But newer age, it's more known for like the new age religious movements. They claim it's like the hippie place now or something, the bohemians, if you might say. But they also say it's a place that's full of vortexes and natural healing energy. When people get sick, a lot of times they go there. If you have like a lot of ailments of your mind and mental tragedies or PTSD. People will go there for solitude and retreats. It sounds kind of dippy-ish. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, you're going to a vortex," or not even know what that is. But I thought it was.
Okay, I actually was just going to ask you what is a vortex?
Right.
Like when you're describing a vortex, or you're describing like them going for like, is there a very specific spot you got to stand somewhere at a certain time, or is it like, explain that?
Yeah. So like a vortex, you think like a big tornado is you're gonna stand there and like all of a sudden you're gonna like get whipped up in a tornado, right? And your hair is gonna fly up or something like that. It's not quite, but so they have places in Sedona where they have like the 4 major vortexes that are in and around the place. But all of Sedona is supposedly a high energy for people who are specifically sensitive. I first learned about vortexes back in the day in 10 years ago when I first started really kind of looking into this stuff. There's actually a redwood forest in Malibu, and there's a vortex there. And that's the first vortex that I first saw inside this redwood forest. This place is also very spiritual to a lot of the native inhabitants. So even the people that own the land now, they still let people go there and do these spiritual ceremonies like sweat lodges, and kind of like vision ceremonies. And I was going to one of these areas once, just walking. I happened to go by when the ceremony was getting prepped. They prep during the day and then it'll go on at night. And if you go to the top of the hill, there's a lot of times, at least here, they'll put whale bones on top of these places. And they would mark these places with whale bones because they were just so in tune with nature, the Native Americans, that they would just feel this energy. And so then I started looking more into it. And if you could think about it, it's kind of like where places in the earth come together, there's like a seam or a crack, right? And those are like little areas where energy, because all of earth is energy, and comes from the center up more than in other places. That's the best way I could describe it.
Like the fault through the fault lines, or just in general, like the Earth's core magma energy? Like, is it the Earth that's like colliding, like the platonic plates? Like
Yeah,
that's
you would
what
think that. It could be, right? Some of that area, but it's not specifically related to plate tectonics or the geos, the plates coming together,
okay.
continents. Uh, we can go on tangents about this. There's things out there that have been called ley lines, LAY lines,
Okay.
and they're supposedly the ancients knew about these sacred places, these vortexes, and they built major cities on top of them all over the world, and or temples. And you can go on books and books and books of this stuff.
So where this particular area in Sedona, are there buildings or is it just open space?
Oh, there's buildings. There is tons and tons of like beautiful mansions, then compounds that look out at people's little retirement homes that are just, I was zillowing. It's like 19 million
So it's
here.
inhabited. There's inhabited. There's people living there.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, it's a thriving.
Oh, okay. I thought this was like middle of the desert. Like you're walking out and you have to like look at the 5th cactus to the right as the sun sets, and you got to like then find the arrow on the rock.
We started BLM camping, which was awesome. And I could put the description of where exactly this place is, because you can watch the sunrise and sun up and sunset at this place called Bear Mountain. And you see the backside. Usually when people climb it, they would see the front side and they look over, but you're actually on the bottom, like looking up. And you could open your car and just like see hot air balloons just pa 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 in the morning. You open your car and they're just everywhere on the red mountains and the red rocks. It's awesome.
Wow.
And in that kind of place, you just kind of build some rocks and no facilities, so be prepared for that, and light a fire.
Okay, but the vortex, the places that have the vortex and the healing stuff, you guys went there.
Yeah, huge hotels, resorts. There's golf club. I mean, it's think of like resort city, Palm Springs. Think of like Palm Springs.
Now, is the this area, is it like a small area? We talked about the vortex. Is the you're saying the vortex covers 20-mile radius, 10-mile radius, or is it like there's
Mm.
a couple different vortexes, like the JW Marriott has a vortex that like sits in their pool or something, like is like only like 10 feet wide. Like, is this vortex like a large area or is it like a small area?
Usually it will be a smaller area, and
Okay.
smaller is relative. But you know, I don't know. Think of an area that maybe is 50 feet by 50 feet, 100 feet by 100 feet ish.
Okay.
And it's not
So
something you.
not very, that's not a big area. And so there are these areas that they have considered to have the vortex. Almost like how I almost think about it is like when you go to Colorado and you want to go into a hot spring, right? You kind of have to, there's like a small little town and you kind of go into, and then the hot spring is actually just like this little cave that you walk into, and there's like 4 or 5 little pools, and you go there for that purpose. Um, you know, just that's how I would think of it, but I wasn't sure if it was like this whole area, like you just by being in this space of like the small town, you're like in the vortex.
Some say that is true, but furthermore, what you first said is right as well about like Colorado and going to those springs or something like that. These places are like a mountain little thing that you can climb, and it'll be like on the right side over here. The highest energy vortex can be felt, and it's not only felt. Specifically, the juniper pine trees and the manzanita trees can feel it the most. Like, I guess they're the most in tune with these vortexes. So you can find a vortex by seeing these trees from the ground up spiraling from their trunks when they grow. So remember we were talking about like a tornado twists. So those are like the physical manifestation of the vortex can be seen. So that's when you can kind of when the twistier they get in those areas, you're like, okay, I'm getting closer to the vortex.
That's very interesting. I actually know manzanita trees very well where I used to live up in Northern California. I grew up in an area, and that was our playground. We were just running around in manzanita trees and building forts. That's funny, but yeah, but so okay, so there are specific. Now, have you been to? Did you go to the vortex and did you actually like stand there or sit there? Like, did you have experienced this energy that the vortex gives off?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it too has to do with like you know self-realization and realizing you are your own temple. Treat your temple wisely, and when you can really kind of focus in on that kind of like thinking and kind of shifting your thinking to the back of your head more, then which is like more like your reptilian brain. We think our latest, our eldest and oldest DNA is stored in the back reptilian side. And if you could try to bring your thoughts and consciousness there, then I feel like you can like open up more. Um, and that's supposed to correlate too, also, which I know not a lot about at all, is like your chakras and balancing your chakras. I would love to learn more, but I'm just ignorant in that aspect.
I've heard of that. I don't know much about it as well. But so when you're saying as far as changing your mind, is this about changing your mindset for yourself, or is that changing just your mindset in general? Or when you say opening up your mind, like, would you describe that?
I think when I think of like opening up your mind, you have to like kind of think of like feel the interconnectedness. And this sounds super hippie. And so like if you sit on the earth, you're like grounding yourself, right? And even though if you look at like hippie, quote unquote, like what the kind of crazy thinking sometimes people associate with that kind of mindset, um, goes back to actually like ancient Chinese thinking and in Eastern, whereas like all the elements, wood and earth and metal and water, and what is the last one? Wood, earth. water, metal, fire. And so once you realize that that's all life, uh, I don't know, you can just try to think of like things that are like there's so much more out there, you know. Supposedly there's like a lot of UFO action in around those places, specifically in um, Sedona, as well as these ley lines, because some say that they open up like natural energy, which are like guides, almost like landing for an airplane.
That's very interesting. That's so okay. So you went? Did you sit at these at the vortex and you had a moment where you're there for 10, 15 minutes or something, or like were you there for an hour? Or explain that part of it.
Yeah, I mean, and then another thing too is like, so everything emanates energy. So this is another thing I brought. So these
Oh, what are those?
crystals.
Okay, those
I
are
mean,
nice.
and each crystal has different colors, and I've always been amped, and when I was little, I almost wanted to be a geologist back in the day. I was like, I love geology, like a super nerd. And but crystals are always emanating energy too, and so if you think about like what is energy, um, energy is light, and what is light? It's the light spectrum, right? So when you see this purple, that means this has certain energy to make you see this purple. So it's like to see purple, you're seeing every, so what is it? Every other color is being not seen, right? Is that how it works?
Okay.
So, anyways,
I didn't know that, but that's very interesting. I'll have to look into that more. But yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
because the light spectrum, the full spectrum of the light, like for example, the colors of the rainbow, right? That's like the
yeah,
full light spectrums of all the different colors. And what you're saying, in order to see purple, you're just not seeing the other ones that the light is reflecting off of that particular rock.
thank you. Yes, yes.
Got it. Okay.
Like why the atmosphere is blue is because we see the sky blue is because like the light of blue is the shortest of the light spectrum.
Right. Right.
So we see it first. Anyways, um,
I thought it was because it was reflecting off of the ocean.
I know I said that once too. I lost a bet. It sucked. I think I was with you at a restaurant actually. You guys have to pay for dinner.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
The things that we were told as kids, right? And then you find out you're like, my parents didn't know anything.
Pluto? I thought that was a planet.
You're right. Oh my goodness. Okay, so everything about the energy and self-reflection.
So if
This is
this,
something you went. This is not something that you were like you just came up with while you were there. This is something you have already had an interest in. So by going there, it kind of like opened up your mind a little bit more by experiencing this area.
yes, yes, and I had kind of like I had done something back in the day, and there's this thing called Dan yoga. It's a Korean type of yoga. Super randomly, I came involved with this group in Oceanside. Back in the day, it was by the Nickelodeon Theater off the 76. And there was this Korean yoga, and I happened like, what's going down in here? And like, okay. Uh, and they'd have all these things. They were talking about like life particles, like you can send life particles to people. And then here's things called don don taps. So you have to like tap your lower stomach, and it wakes up the energy inside of you. Uh, I didn't really, because I was still young and dumb, and just I don't know, just stupid and worried about other things in life. And then I had this book, and I never really read it. Look at this one. Boom. And then I
Oh,
brought it up,
Sedona. Okay.
and I was like, "Oh, I had forgotten I read this." And I met this dude. His name is
Oh, did you?
yeah, and he's like
Okay.
a super famous guy. I saw him speak in Oceanside, and he has this whole thing about brain training and retraining your brain, a new sort of like education where you have to like train your brain waves. And so once you can get your waves patterns down, because everything operates like at like a 5 to 6 hertz, 5 to 6 G. Think about that, right? So everything is vibrating like that, rocks, trees. And even in psychology, they teach you how to control your alpha waves. because your alpha waves are about 5 hertz, something around there. So once you can control that, they have machines that they can hook you up to, and you can play games by controlling your alpha waves, and they can go up and down and bring the sun up and bring the sun down. And once you do that, you're able to handle like your emotions more, and like handle PTSD, and things get you angry, and like it just kind of helps you manage life. So anyway, with that thinking, somehow he knew that too. And with those waves, he did all these experiments and found out like other things in this world were operating on that wavelength. So he has a whole retreat center out there. He's written, I don't know, 15 books. And he goes around the world. He's a speaker. And then I just started reading more and more. And I was like, whoa, like, this is awesome. I mean, and then I was like, well, maybe this is why, like this is why you go to these places. You can't see that.
Yeah, I can see a little bit. Yeah.
And
Okay.
he does crazy art like that too. It's like meditative art. But yeah, interesting, dude. Very, very interesting. And then I just happened to find that before I left, and then I read the whole book again. I was like, oh, okay.
That sounds really interesting. Okay, so you are kind of something you touched bases with when you were younger. You kind of came around to it, and you experienced going to the Vortex in Sedona. I'm sure you probably met some really cool people while you were out there, because a lot of people that are into it are obviously probably going there for very similar reasons.
Sure.
And what can you describe in regards to, like, was it a feeling that you get being in this vortex, or is it like your mind opens a little bit more while you're like, are you meditating while you're there? Or are you just kind of deep in thought? Are you letting your mind maybe describe a little bit about like your experience there? Or can't?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's for me. I think it's you have to know what you're looking for. Like, if you're looking for something, ideas or perspective, I think you have to have that in like your mind of some sort of like this is what you're here. If you're gonna go out and feel, I mean, and be rejuvenated, you could do that as well. But I mean, if you have a purpose and like you have traumatic stress in your life and you need some kind of like solitude and some way to let go of that traumatic stress, with if you had that in your mind of just like I think that's what you could really do. Like for me personally, I was like on this mission of just like keeping my mind open for like ideas. And me and you were always trying to think of new ideas, and we've traveled, hours and hours in the car together. We've shared so many countless hotel rooms together. But for me, it was just to further get deeper and understand. I think more for me, like the connection with nature, because I lose that a lot here. Even like,
Living, because you live like what, downtown LA basically, right? I mean,
I mean, to hear
there's
birds,
not there's no the only tree you have there is like something that was like planted on purpose.
yeah, and got peed on this morning by like 7 dogs and a homeless person, and it's just I don't even. No joke, man.
Yeah, I've been to LA. I've almost stepped in human. I've seen people like squatting between cars and take a number two, and I've always like come around the corner and almost step in dog shit, or like not looking because I go to check my text message and I look down, I almost step in human shit, and you're like, oh
What are you
wow,
doing?
like not something you would when you think of like LA, like why is there shit all over the place?
Yeah, come on, man. Have some sense.
If there was shit all over the place in the middle of the desert or like in the woods, it would be expected. And it's like, oh, cool, just kind of brush that off with some leaves. But when you're walking down like a a pavement or a sidewalk, and this, right out your steps, like from your apartment or your house, like that would be terrible.
I was walking my little chihuahua. It was like 8 at night. It was already dark, and there was an overgrown bush. And this is just across the street from me. And major city. I'm just walking. All of a sudden, I'm looking. Oh, is there a backpack? What is that? And then my dog starts going in, and then all of a sudden, like I put my light on, and like, oh, it's a guy sleeping tucked under a bush, like, and he goes, "Oh, don't worry, it's just me." What? Who the hell are you? What do you mean it's just you?
You saw a backpack.
Yeah,
The guy was wearing a backpack, but he was under the bush.
yeah, with the backpack. And I'm just trying to make it out. Like, what is that? And like, and all I was like gonna like bite him or pee on that. Like, what? I'm trying to make sure my dog's not gonna bite you or like pee on you. Who are you?
Yeah.
Tell me it's just
Yeah.
me.
What do you?
It's just me.
It's like middle of the afternoon, and people are just taking a siesta under the bush on the sidewalk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, I don't know how you guys do it over there. Okay, so after Sedona, did you go camping? Did you camp there in Sedona?
Oh, so we went camping first,
Did you
and
first about the BLM camping?
yeah, BLM camping. It was awesome. I mean, it was very accessible. There's places you can go. Uh, you just got to be respectful. What you pack in, you pack out. Any trash. If you know, just don't be stupid. Don't be an ass. Make your fire ring. Put the fire out. Make sure all those kind of basic things that like you shouldn't be have to be told. They had those really bad fires out in
No,
Arizona.
of course.
They're
I
very
bet.
wary about it, but it was
So when you went camping,
it was
BLM? What's BLM is not Black Lives Matter, right?
no. BLM is Bureau of Land Management, which is land that's so vast in this country. We're like, oh, I don't know what to do with this stuff. The federal government just comes in, and it's one of my favorite places of land because it's pretty much it's the West for us out here. It's places that you can actually just go shooting because we can't go shooting most places around here. So you can bring a gun and just start target
Okay.
practicing. Granted, don't be an ass. Shoot with the mountain behind you and stuff like that. Uh, you can go camping. For the most part, you could build fires. Um, there are limitations. Like even on their BLM, they're like, we'll have like one ranger that will go around and he'll be like, "Have you been over here for like longer than a month?" Otherwise, you're just squatting at that point. But
Okay, so there's the Bureau of Land Management that covers basically the land that is really nothing going on. You're saying it's ran by the federal government, so it's free to access. Like they just give you like a map and you just kind of go kind of wherever you want. Or is this like, are there little campsites with like other people, or are you just out there by yourself, or what is that situation like?
BLM is non-governed free land. You go out there, and if they have paths, it's usually like washes. So you'll drive down a wash to make sure it's if you know what that is. It's a place where flash floods, water will come rushing through in the desert. You're driving down unkept roads. You got to like kind of know what you're doing. Air out your tires if you don't have an off-road car or something like that, and then you'll be able to like navigate and not pop. And then yeah, I mean it's pretty much have at it. They have an app now, a BLM app. So you could do that. You probably would want to print it because most BLM land, when you get there, will not have reception on your phone. So
So you're disconnected from the world.
have a Garmin or print paper.
Okay, old school, like
Old school.
Thomas Guide.
Yeah, but you can find where to go. We specifically did that because all the campsites were closed in Sedona. We really wanted to go camping. It'd be like, because like, there was us and then the dog, and it was like below 30 degrees at night, super, super, super cold. Like it was
So I
like
take it. Did you took a tent, sleeping
no,
bags?
the back of the car. We just set it up.
Oh, you slept in the car.
Dude, we got these really cool like -20. It's rated. They rate sleeping bags by like 0 degrees, -20, -32. Blah, blah, blah. So we had the -20 below because we knew it was gonna be below freezing, Fahrenheit that is, and just because she had the gun with a little SUV, made it flat. The dog can lay there and come in, like the whole trip over. It was cool.
So did you cook food? Did you take food? Did you?
Because
Obviously, you said you build a fire. So did you use that to cook? Did you go hunting?
mainly heat. I'm still new school. I'll bring a propane tank and a single burner. You know what I mean? And then I'll just pick something up like a steak and just fry that up, and take a can of beans and take the wrapping off and put the can of beans in the fire and heat that up in the can. It's awesome.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's really good.
Can of beans and a slab of meat. That was basically your meal for a
Yeah,
couple of days.
and you can take an orange and cut the top of an orange off and scoop it out, eat that. Put an egg in there and put the top back on, and then put that in the campfire, and you cook your egg in the morning.
Okay, what did you just say? Cut an orange.
Cut an orange.
Okay, this is that's some news. Okay, so you cut an orange. So you cut the top. So you cut a top off of it. Scoop out the orange and eat it with the spoon. So then when it's all that's left is the rind, right?
Yeah.
The outer part, the shell. And then you say you crack an egg, toss the egg in there, put the top of the orange back on, and you put that in the fire, and
Yes.
it cooks the egg
Perfect.
without really like a hard boiled, not a hard boiled egg, like a hard boiled egg, or you actually crack the egg and like put the yolk and the whites in it.
Everything like an over hard egg. If you got an egg over hard.
Okay, so it's not you don't put the whole egg in there. You actually just crack an egg open and pop it in there, and
Yeah.
just dump it in there, and then
Yeah.
it. Oh wow, that sounds. Where'd you learn that?
My uncle was a Boy Scout guy or Boy Scout master in Connecticut back in the day. Uncle
Okay,
Uncle Wally.
that's a good. I like that one. I might just try that at home just for the sake of trying it and practicing. I
Yeah.
didn't even know.
Son.
So do you have okay? So then you took meat and you took eggs. Do you have a refrigerator or do you have just a cooler because you're only going to be for a couple of days?
Oh, dude, I forgot. I wish I could find it right now. I got the coolest little thing. It was just a thing on like those treasure truck Amazon days. I don't know if you know what that is. You get those
I'm familiar of that. Yes, I've seen the thing. Hey, it shows up somewhere and they have deals
special.
for stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They had these mini fridges. They can fit like, let's think of like a 12 pack of beer equivalent or soda, whatever. Uh, it has both AC DC input, so you can plug it in your car,
Okay.
DC, and then it has you plug in your house, and it goes cool and warm. It's a little mini fridge, mind you, and then you can unplug it, and then you take it with you like beach or picnic or something, and it'll still stay like that. It has like a battery in it too.
Oh, really?
It's awesome, dude. Like it's like, why are we even doing coolers anymore? I mean, these things. Granted, I love Yetis, and I wish I can afford them, uh, but um, it's
Well,
amazing.
you can't plug in a Yeti. I mean, Yetis are cool, but you can't plug them in. I mean, the fact that you have a little battery, you can plug it in and keep things cool for however long, and you're saying like be able to take it with you and it stays cool for another 5 6 hours or something. Like that's amazing. That's really convenient for again for being able to camp. Take some products that, like you said, like eggs and meats and other things that you need to keep cold. I like it.
Or,
You
or, or
need to put a you need to put a, you need to send me a link so I can like take a look at like what it is or send me a picture of it or something like that.
absolutely. Or you could bring a hot casserole to the in-laws house. Be like, hey, it's warm.
Yeah. I live in a I'm married into a Hispanic family. They all cook. I don't bring anything.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I mean, the holidays are cooking during the day. They're cooking. If I get in the kitchen, I'm in the way, and it just becomes a problem. So yeah, I don't bring anything, but I do get things ready to go for when we go to the beach or when we start going camping, which I'll probably start again this year. Um, I have my little collection of things, that's for sure. But that sounds like a good one to have, especially being able to take. My son still drinks milk, right? So being able to take milk, and he loves egg. So being able to like, cook up an egg, I like
I,
it.
I think it's like under $100 too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, this is extreme $1,500 $1,000 coolers. No, it was like
That's
very.
still. I mean, it still sounds better than a Yeti. I mean, seeing that how expensive a Yeti is, and yeah, it keeps the ice cold and it keeps things cold, but you have this huge thing. That's what I like about Yeti. I mean, I understand like that. Obviously, the science behind it. They're so big, and you can't really take as that much stuff. I guess it's good because you don't really want to carry a whole bunch of stuff. But it's just like you're like, oh, that's a really big cooler, and then you like open it up and you're like, oh, I could put like 3 oranges in here.
I love the bag ones. Those little, because remember, were you there when we went to the Yeti headquarters in Austin?
Yes, I've been there a couple times. Yep,
Dude, I
great
love.
place.
Oh, it's so
It's
cool.
yeah.
So cool. So like creative, and like there's case studies written about that store. I remember people studying about that in the conferences we would go to.
Mm-hmm.
But they got the bag one, which is pretty cool. Have you seen it's like a little sling. Remember Lisa had gotten one?
I think so. Yeah, we have. I think we have. Oh, no, it's not a Yeti. It's something else. It's like an off-brand or something. We have something similar, but yeah, the Yeti ones are. Or I mean, I drink out of a
Oh,
Yeti. My water cup is a Yeti. I literally drink out of that almost every single day. Um, that's my water bottle. You know, I upgraded from my glass bottles that I used to carry everywhere and would break and shatter and make a mess, and
oh
I
yeah.
couldn't like put it in like it wouldn't fit in cup holders and everything else. But the Yeti it does well. It does actually a really good job. I like it.
Yeah, I like the tumbler. I mean, that's some of the best products right there. Yeah, the tumbler is really good.
Hmm. Yeah, the
Uh,
tumbler I use for my coffee, and then I have another. Actually, I don't know what this one is. This is
like a wine glass. Sometimes they got like a wine Yeti.
yeah. So this one, I don't know if you can see it. It's like an
Oh yeah,
18
yeah.
ounce. And then, so this is cool because it take the top off and it's magnetic, so that way
Oh,
you don't have to worry about losing it, right? And yeah, it's perfect.
oh, dude, I've never seen that.
No, yeah, I bought the lid off. I bought the lid off of Amazon because I actually what it comes with is like the little like handle, right? But trying to drink out of it, unscrew it, it was kind of a mess and always a problem. But yeah, you just this little thing and it's got a little magnet on it, so that way you can just pop it on there and yeah, doop, that's it.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I gotta get that.
that's my everyday drinker right there. So I have two of those. One actually just a regular thing. So I typically travel with. I take that one off, of course, and I travel with another one. So I always have like some water with me. But yeah, that's
The
my
everyday.
upgrade that's my everyday drinker. Upstairs, downstairs, travel anywhere. I just take that everywhere. It's the water bottle. That's it. So you went when you went camping. You basically camped in the back of your car with some really warm sleeping bags and some things to like just make up a fire. And then when you're out there, did you go hiking or anything? Was you guys just was it open space? Was there mountains? Was there rocks you went and checked out or
Yeah, I mean, it was like we're big hikers. We didn't have all the toys because we're traveling from over here. But if you have toys, you can go crazy. You can rent toys out there. Toys meaning buggies, any kind of bike, dirt bike, or
bikes? Yeah, right,
quad.
right.
I mean, it's just you can go crazy. You can go on the tours where they bring in the off road tours. So like we would hike to the places, and they had people who didn't want to hike, and then they would like be mobbing up on the jeeps, and they get out and take the photos, like the same photos that you would like go get, but then they off roaded there, and you're like, I guess that's cool, but uh,
It does. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how hard you work for the photo, but if as long as you have the photo, right?
yeah, there you go. I guess so.
That's
uh,
why when I like to go up. Like, so when I used to like ride bikes and go like climb or hike, I have to go up. So there, you have to only way you can get there is on foot or by bike, right? There is no like motorized vehicles. There's no cars. There's no buggies. There's nothing to take you up. Like, so when I
oh
go, like, I really enjoy going to like, for example, hiking up or biking up in Lake Tahoe. Like I was like, this is great. Like being able to get to the top of this hill and like the only way you can get there is if you ride a bike or if you hike it. And oh,
yeah,
it's beautiful. I loved it. I love doing that.
dude. Mountain biking. Like I was thinking about you the whole time. I was like, dude, you would love this. I mean, even the vortex. Like, there's this one called Bell Rock, and that's like where one of the major vortexes was that I had gone to with that rock or that crystal, and they were mountain biking from the top. He had this like girl filming him. She was like, "Oh, that's good. Let's do it one more time." From the all over. Okay, good.
Down these are rock. They're going down rocks. You're
Rock
saying
face. I'm talking rock faces.
rock face. Oh
Rock
my gosh.
with cacti, with jumps, little whoops, and you'll come into like this soft sand patch all of a sudden, thick soft sand, so you can get like
Oh,
bogged down.
you get messed up. You get messed up is what happens. You're coming too fast and you hit that and you don't expect to stop. It just digs in and you just go flying over the top of your handlebars. Done that a couple of times. It sucks.
And then those photos I showed you of the so the last night we were at another Hilton there who had those like good cleaning policies. That bike thing. Did you see those photos?
Yes, I did. The basically repair the bike repair stuff.
Yeah, for
Is
anyone
that
to
what that
use.
was? Yeah, anyone to use. So if you need like an air pump or you need like a wrench or you need any of those things, you can fix your bike up real quick. Yeah, I've seen those. Those are really cool. I mean, I have only seen those on certain trails. Just the biking trail, like Lake Tahoe might have one or two. I think there's one like in Escondido or at Daly Ranch. I think I've seen one in like around Lake Hodges area. Um, but very rare. It's very rare to see those, but it's nice to have. Those are I've never had to use them. I always pretty much pack my own tools. But yeah, if you're not prepared because you're visiting and you didn't bring your tools, it's good to have those to like just get a quick repair in and move on. Yeah,
All
but
the
that
air.
sounds like fun, man. Like that. That's a. I wish I could go. I want to go. I guess we're gonna go. I'm gonna make that happen. We're gonna go. Yosemite is a kind of on our list to go. I remember we talked a while back about you doing a trip to Yosemite, and we really wanted to make that one. Um, I think we were talking with my sister about going up because she's going to be up there this year. Um, it just depends on when Carice is out of her program. So when she obviously is, when she can go, if she has the time to go or whatever. But we were definitely thinking about trying to get out to Yosemite this year.
That would be awesome, man. Uh, Camping or like a yurt.
No, probably. Well, I'm trying to convince her to go camping. But for her, like, she wants to like sleep on something soft. So I mean, I have the van, which I could pull the seat, a couple of the seats out of the back and just give her a spot to sleep like in the van. And I will take Karsten or whatever, he can sleep in the van too. I'll sleep outside in a tent. Like
And they have those
I
hookups
dig it.
now, like a tent that hooks up to the van. You know what I mean? Like they can like, so it could be make it like
Oh
a
yeah, I mean, they have those. They have. I've seen a couple where they are like the pop tops, right? Where you basically put them on the top of your van and they pop up, and there's like basically a tent on the top of your car or van or SUV or whatever it may be. Um, for me, I don't mind. Just give me the ground. Like, give
yeah.
me the ground.
And
I might take like a yoga mat, like just to roll it out for a little bit of extra cushion. But a yoga mat with my sleeping bag, I'm good. Like that's all I need. Throw me in the tent, keep the bugs away from me, have my own little space. I'm cool. Like by all means, sign me up. I'll do that all day. Um, for her, she has a harder time sleeping on harder surfaces, so she needs something a little bit softer. So we can definitely get like a foam mattress or like an air mattress to put in the back of the van. That's definitely not a problem. But yeah, she can go. I'll go sleep by the water. She can sleep in the parking lot. I don't care.
Dude, do you have like 5 more minutes?
Yeah, what's up?
Just 5 minutes. I know we've been running a little long in this one.
I'm enjoying it. I've actually learned a lot. So don't. I mean, I actually with my new setup back here, I can actually, and with everyone, they're basically in bed right now, so I can go as long as I need to go. Just providing everything is recording fine, I guess.
Looks like it is, I guess. Yeah. I just wanted to tell you, so like what you're saying is that you'd rather get to the ground, like, and that's what it's about. Like for me, and like that's what I took out of Sedona, like grounded, getting to the earth, sitting on the ground. Like, so if you got this from somewhere else, or you buy one in a store, it's all about like getting that energy out from where it was. Because like, where did this come from? Like all these years of compression of dirt and all these minerals had to come through. I mean, this is thousands of years in the making for me to be able to hold this, and that's energy, right? And then maybe it's not, it's on display hundreds of how many years. So then when you bring it to the vortexes, you place it like these kinds of things into the ground and reunite their energy with the ground energy, because it's like, how long has that been? And so that's what they call like charging your crystals.
Oh, that's what that means. Okay. I didn't know. Actually, didn't know that. That is very interesting though. But I mean, being one with nature, I mean, I grew up in an area that was a lot of trees. We didn't have an actual playground. We actually had trees. Like it was like trees and hills and rocks. And, like when it would snow, we have this little embankment where we would take trash can lids or we would take, plastic bags and we would slide down the hill. So growing up, I was always in some sort of like nature, environment. And it wasn't until I moved to Southern California when it became a little bit more, city like, right? I mean, this for me was like a city being in like Southern California. Being San Diego was like, oh, this is a city. I mean, San Marcos is no city, right? But not like LA is. It's not. I mean, it's single story homes, two-story homes, typical neighborhoods, that kind of thing. But for me, that was like, oh, this is like the city. I got a street.
Oh yeah.
Where where I was living, to get to where I was living, you had to drive up a mile and a half up a dirt road and rocks and everything else. Like, and sometimes when it would snow, trees or power lines would fall over, and the road would be blocked, and you had to stay up on the mountain, or the power would go out and you would have no heat. So you have to like figure out how to like keep yourself warm when it's snowing outside. Um, those are like miserable times as I think about it as a kid, but nowadays as an older man, like I really enjoy outdoors. Like I like the outdoor, I like trail running. I like riding my bike on trails. I like camping. I like being out in the water. I like being in the trees. I like all of that stuff. I mean, does absolutely amazing for just clearing the head and kind of resetting. And especially if you can go somewhere where there is no cell phone reception, and you can go somewhere where you're completely disconnected from social media and everything else that's going on in the world, and the BS from the government and COVID and whatever it may be. Being able to just get away and I think what you were experiencing was just being able to ground yourself and just kind of reset for the next the next bunch of hurdles that you have to go through, by living in the city or living in whatever restrictions that you have, not being able to leave your house as often or dine indoors, you know?
You did it too. You went, oh, dining indoors.
I did. I was like, what? That's
Holy crap.
wow. Like that's a thing. Like you can do that. See, well, you know what? For us, I mean, so I'm in Riverside County, and Riverside County has definitely taken a different approach to what's been happening. So they've always had outdoor dining, and some places now, if they have actual like those big doors that open up,
Oh yeah.
like the big kind of like sliding doors that open up, you can actually eat indoors. You can choose to eat indoors, and some places will ask you, "Do you want to eat indoors or do you want to be outdoors?" Like the only thing I don't like about the whole outdoor dining thing is that you're usually set like right next to the street, and you have cars passing you. And I'm like, so when did the smog from the cars no longer become a health hazard?
Ugh.
Right? Like you're literally like, here you are sitting on the sidewalk in your chair, and then like a muscle car drives by, and then a motorcycle drives by, and a big truck drives by, and the truck that's raised has its muffler right at your head, and you literally could probably reach out and touch it almost. Like that's like, when did that become safer, right? And like healthier as an option to eat my food while I'm sucking down car smog.
And that's another telltale sign of Temecula. You're in Temecula when the car and the trucks get that high. Or Orange County.
Anyways, I mean, that's just one of those things that you just end up paying attention to. It's like, okay, well, this is cool. I can eat outside, but now I'll have to like deal with these cars. Like, this is kind of gross.
Yeah.
But anyways, but yes, I mean, it sounds like amazing. It sounds like an amazing trip to go to Sedona. I definitely didn't know anything about it. I am definitely much more open-minded to what you're talking about with just the hippie-ish thing. I get like, but I don't think it's necessarily hippie-ish. I think it's just just kind of like a mindset of being connected with the world. And what is that? I can't really see it. It's just white, like a diamond.
Can't really see it.
It's a diamond. Is a big diamond? No, like an arrowhead.
Crystal, but it's it's too bright. My sister had dug it up at Malibu Lake near Malibu, so they had crystals over there. And
I didn't know
weirdly enough, you can write data in crystals. You know that, right? It's like computer data.
No, I did not know that.
So valuable about them, yeah. And so they think a lot of crystals back in the day could have had data written in them. That's a mind trip, right?
There's data written, like if it was data like from frequencies from conversation.
No, think of like how a
hard drive works.
Exactly. Think about how a hard drive works and what they write on. It's
right.
metal. But the same element structure that it takes to write on that can also be written on crystal.
I did not know that. You're just kind of like that guy who has all this kind of like
weird
knowledge that nobody else knows.
No reason. One last thing, dude. I gotta tell you, this is one thing I wanted to get to you. I know the time's coming up.
No, hey, I got time, man. I always enjoy our conversations. I'm glad that we had this one and caught up for after the new year. We have a lot of things that we got to work on. So, but yeah, I'm always happy to like chat with you, and it's good to see a different face from time to time. So, I mean, I see my kids' face every single day, and I'm like,
Oh, dude, that energy, get into the energy. And we're talking about like, so I'm sitting there like thinking about energy, and you're like, how can you be connected with Earth? Like, where is this energy coming from? Like, okay, maybe it's twisting things, whatever. I think we might have even talked about this before in our drives. Like, so there's like classical physics, which is like, a bird flies. So why does it fly? A fish swims. Why does it swim? But then there's like quantum physics, which is like small things of like atoms and particles, which they couldn't even imagine back in the day because they couldn't study it. So, like, what holds an atom together? It's all these little molecules. But ultimately, like all matter, right? All matter, it's just particles. And then you get down to particles, and it's like it's little atoms, and atoms that can be broken up into neutrons and electrons, and those can even be broken up into quarks. And there's positives and negatives and all this other stuff. And then they have the stuff that's like glucose, which is actually like they call it glue because we have no other conception of like what could hold molecules together. So it's just air, but this air is sticky air and it holds these things together. So ultimately, air is holding this stuff together all around. So nothing's really connected. You know what I mean? If you really think about it, like this is not actually solid. This is just a bunch
Oh,
of little,
when you break it down to the molecule level, that it's so tiny, so small that there actually isn't a. It's yeah, I understand. Yes.
right? So this
Yeah.
isn't solid. This is just held together by like air. It's like if you look at the particles, it's just energy. So that glucose, whatever that ethos, whatever that holding that shit together, that's what everyone's studying. That energy is what can connect all of us, and that's what they're talking about. They think is on that 5 to 6 uh, hertz wavelength.
Being able to tap into that using your mind, or being able to, or yeah, tune into that would be the probably more of a correct term, right? Because you're tuning into a frequency. Now, is this through a thought process that you're tuning into this frequency? Are you hearing it? Are you like thinking it? Like, how do you? I guess my question is, how do you tune into a wavelength? Or do I have to read a book to figure that out?
No, no, it's true. Like, how do you tune into a wavelength? I mean,
We might need to talk to someone who is into this kind of stuff to maybe educate us a little bit more on this idea of like tuning into wave. Now it's interesting. So I know that there are healers, or if they're called healers,
shaman.
where is that what they are? Where they use certain like the metal bowls, and they use certain rocks, or they use certain stones and certain things to get certain frequencies. And the person who is doing that is usually trying to read the frequency of the individual and maybe help them get through something or kind of align them. My mother-in-law did this. I think she was in Colorado somewhere, like maybe Southern Colorado. She went somewhere and she had this done. She went to a place and they did that, where they basically read her frequency, and then they put her through this sort of like treatment that where they would have her in the bowl. And I guess her process, because she's pretty well grounded as it is, like it kind of went very quickly, and they were very much surprised because they were like, well, you seem to be pretty in tune with almost like your frequency, like you seem to be kind of like together, where other people it may take them 30 minutes or 45 minutes to do this process, where for her it was only maybe like 15. But it was basically like laying down or standing somewhere and using this metal bowl, to generate a frequency, a sound, which is all frequency based, and sounds are frequency based. And to yeah, I mean, I don't know much about it. Like this is just something that she was telling me, but it's interesting because the fact that you're talking about it, of course, makes me more interested in it. And that you went somewhere that was very popular. It would be really cool to kind of like dive into that more, maybe like talk to somebody who knows more about that kind of stuff. Because if I can tune into a frequency and open my mind up to what we always discuss about ideas, or trying to the next thing, right? Which I think a lot of people are. Some people do it through alcohol. Some people do it through drugs. Some people do it from meditating. Some people do it through, a variety of different methods. But being able to tune into a frequency to have better mind control or open your mind, whatever that process, whatever it sounds positive. I don't know what the outcome would be, but it does sound positive, I would say. And it sounds very interesting to be able to like to maybe just check it out.
Right, and that's really what I'm trying to like learn more about it, because like I don't know a lot. This guy, he knows a lot more, and he talks about this. I'll get you this book, man. I'm gonna send you this thing, because that was the first one. He has a bunch of them. I haven't read them all, but
Can we get him on? Can we talk to him?
I think we can. We'll just manifest that. We'll put those particles out there.
Can I just find the right particle and just think about the right particle that's going to connect to his particle, and he's just going to like send us an email?
There we go. It's done. It's done. But yeah, I would definitely like to learn more about that, and I think this is a lot of that new age thinking of mind and body, and realizing the connectiveness. I mean, like you take a shot of whiskey or some alcohol, and instantly you're like you feel it in your body, right? And so that's the same thing you have to like think about when you think about like food and Chinese herbal medicine, Eastern uh, herbal medicine. They make these concoctions of this root and a little this, um, and you just take a little bit, but it's affecting your body instantly. It really, really does.
Yeah, I mean, that you start talking about when it comes to your mind, like between supplements and vitamins, nootropics, right? Which are very specific to brains and motivation and energy. And I mean, I've been reading a little bit about that. So yeah, I'm very familiar with just how the variety of mushroom extracts, and certain mushrooms are used in Asian cultures to help with like focus and memory and just the building blocks for your brain. So I'm
Lion's
sure in
mane.
combination with I'm sure, yeah, the lion's mane, shiitake, not shiitake, I want to say shiitake mushroom. That's another one.
You
The lion's mane
racist.
is like is the most apart. There, ashwagandha. Like there's ashwagandha. Yeah. um, so yeah, I mean, it would be very. I know that. I mean that. What's interesting. What I find interesting is that they call it New Age, but I know of it being New Age since I was a kid.
Huh.
I've heard of New Age since I was as long as I can remember. I've always wondered what that was, or New Age music, New Age this, but here we are in 2021, and it's still called New Age, like it's like something new. But it's not. It's something that has really been around for centuries, right? Between the Indian cultures and the Asian cultures, many of them used it, and their way of being able to connect with nature and connect with the world, and it almost like it's almost religious, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be like a religious thing. But I think people, I think it's great. I think it's very positive. I think a lot of people need more of this sort of thinking. Um, and as I say religious, some people really put a lot of emphasis on having to follow the religion, because if you don't follow the religion 100% and you take this new age route, you're doing something incorrect, or you're doing something wrong, and it's bad for religion or whatever. But I think the combination of religion and this like new age thinking and being connected with the world is important. It's definitely, I think everyone should do it.
Yeah, I mean, and people who are skeptical, and they're just like, oh, I only go with my doctor, and I go to my Kaiser. Uh,
I pop my pills.
Dude, look, a lot of those people, and people who are developing those drugs, they're going to the jungle, and they're like seeking these shamans to see like, hey, well, what do you use? And what's this leaf? And I've never heard of this. And they bring it back, and they become a billionaire.
Right. They're trying to recreate nature through some powder,
Hmm.
pack the powder into a little pill, add some water, and here you go. But it's not the same thing.
Crazy, right? And they're rich,
Absolutely.
making
Oh yeah,
money.
I mean, let's just take some of our most recent stuff. I mean, CBD, right? CBD in a cannabis plant was a big no-no for many, 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 many years. And then
Yeah.
somebody were like, "Oh, wait a minute, we can make CBD in a laboratory and we can sell it." and we can be legal when we sell it because cannabis CBD is illegal.
It's
Right?
so crazy.
We're right in the middle of that right now, you know? And people, their CBD stores popped up everywhere, thinking that they're getting whatever, and they're getting some synthesized, made in a factory stuff.
Yeah. And people are you can vape melatonin now mixed with CBD. Like they figured out how to do
You
vape.
can vape melatonin and
Yeah,
CBD.
it's like one of the leading doctors. Oh, if we can get her on here. I was just reading about her. She had her the product is like Dreamt, I think it's called, and you
Mm-hmm.
could either take a tincture as like a drink or vape, which is like a lot of people don't even know how to do it, and it's something with like THC, melatonin, uh, valerian root, and terps, like different type of terpenes, uh, and if she figured out how to vape it, and some science behind that. We got to get her on there too. That's another like let's put those particles out there.
Yeah, I'm in. I think we're on something here. I definitely think we're gonna do some great things with our energy.
I feel you, my great
Oh,
brother.
by the way, now that I have this little space, hold on, I'll be right back. Hold on. All right, are we done with recording?
Okay.
Are we done with recording? Is that it?
Yeah. All right. We're done. Talk to you guys next time.
Oh, that was it.